want to ask you, who are you?
Okay, so I'm Precshard. A lot of people know me as Dunk, but I am Precshard Williams. I am a lead prevention and sexual health specialist at Metro Inclusive Health. I am a Black same gender loving man. I'm an uncle. I'm a brother. I'm a godfather. You know, I'm unapologetically Black.
I love it. I love it. And tell me, what is mental health to you?
Yeah, mental health to me is complex. Mental health is, of course, a part of our health. It's an overall thing, but I think depending on who you are in the intersections of your life, mental health can mean something different. And for me, sometimes mental health can be fear, fear of addressing, traumatic experiences, sometimes good experiences, pleasurable experiences that may have resulted in traumatic endings. But it's important to be able to address it. It's important to be able to have a healthy mental health. How can I say it? State, a mental health state.
And have you ever experienced depression?
Yeah, I think I've experienced depression on and off. I find myself at times in the morning when I'm all alone, when it's me, and I think when I wake up in the morning, that's when I reflect. That reflection sometimes is good, sometimes it's bad, and most times it's an emotional reflection. And then I wonder why I'm crying, and then I turn on the news and everything makes me cry. Then I cry because I'm just emotional, and I just don't want to be emotional anymore. But then I find comfort in the fact that I am emotional and that I can respond to things and that I know that I have feelings too.
So tell me what brings on depression sometimes for you.
The feeling of not being seen, the feeling of not being heard, and always having to fight 3 times, 10 times harder, really, than others, than having to, at times, almost feel like an object in certain senses, in order to be seen. It had to be your story, it couldn't be because you were fit for that, because you earned that, it had to be tied to something that was going to be of some other kind of benefit to something else other than who I really was. So that brings depression on sometimes.
It's interesting that you say that you always got to work 2 or 3 times harder. I currently work at Howard Brown Health, and my supervisor is the vice president of external relations there, and she was one of the first people who I really came out and was like, listen, I've got to work 200% times harder just to get 25% of what you have. 25%. And so I've always been able to pack things in a little package and store it away. But those are the things that make you depressed.
But that's depression. You see what I'm saying? Because that's just one compartment of it, right? That's one thing that you have to unpack, because that may be your professional. But then when you fall into your personal, depending on what those intersections are, as a Black man, you already have all of these experiences that you're going to have. But then as a Black gay man, now you have a whole another set of experiences, because within that Black community, you may not be accepted, or you may not be loved on as much or celebrated as much as you see this white gay man does, It's just so much that comes with it, and you have to compartmentalize all of that. And then it's like, where do you find time to unpack that? You know what I mean? Hell, do I have the money to pay somebody to help me unpack that? So yeah, that's depression. That's deep.
Extremely. So tell me, what do you do to take care of your mental health?
I tell myself, one, that you're just one of those people who are managing this. So don't don't feel that you are just this one person out there in the world who's going through this alone. But then I also spend a lot of time in my field of work. We do groups, we have social support groups, and I take advantage of that.
So you go to support groups?
I go to support groups too. As a facilitator of those groups, sometimes I do enjoy not being the facilitator. My team, we basically kind of rotated, but I enjoy taking time to sit in when I'm not facilitating and to be vulnerable as well, and to share that space, with the participants, not my participants, but with my family, because I feel like only family can get into those type of spaces and be vulnerable with one another and share those type of experiences, and that helps me. It may not be the help that I know I need to get, but it is something that helps me get through, and I know that it helps others. Knowing that, hey, even somebody who is a facilitator or can be seen in this role can also be someone who's just like me.
So you said something that I think most people don't think about. It might not be the care I may need to get. What do you mean by that?
So, we know that there's a lot of emphasis around, get help, talk to somebody, see somebody. And if I'm being completely honest about my own situation, that's scary sometimes. I don't even know sometimes what's really going to come out, when I know that it's been so much that has happened, leading up to this point. Saying go get help is easy, but picking up that phone and actually making that call and actually showing up to that appointment, that is a whole nother level of fear sometimes for me. So I'm comfortable in knowing that I have a space to share. I have people who do share, and not only just share, but they feel that with me, so they're there with me, and that's my therapy. That works.
So everyone knows Precshard Williams, love him, but everybody revels in the man that is Dunk.
Right.
Do you think you created Dunk to bring you some sense of comfortability, a different world?
I created Dunk to give me protection, to give me a shield, to make me a superhero, to give me a mask. I get emotional sometimes. I start talking about all that type of stuff, but
it's okay.
It's you put on this role, and you don't put on this role. You're in this role, but you it's almost like you put on a suit, and that suit to me became my armor. It became it made me this hero, because I knew that if I became too vulnerable, if I shared too much, or not even shared too much, if I dug too deep into really what has helped build who I am, because all of the good and all of the bad goes into who you really are. But sometimes if I dig too deep into it, or I reveal too much of that, it could be catastrophic. And that's probably the fear of therapy again. But when I can be this person, when I can be strong for other people, I'm also being strong for myself, right? So when I can take my experiences and I can talk to somebody and I can show them that you can be better than this, you are not this decision, you are not this mistake, whatever, however you view that, and that person can see me years later and say, you know what, you did that, you helped me through that because somebody did that for me. That's when I know I feel like I'm that hero, and that is what the whole purpose of having a Dunk really is, because Precshard would be like a Bruce Wayne, because I'm a Batman fan, right? And no matter how much money Bruce Wayne has, and no matter how much he donates, he still suffers from so much trauma, right? And even with all that money and all of the changes that he's making, people still don't see him. But when he can put on that mask and he can go out and he can really make a difference, and he can take things into his own hands and really truly make a difference and create change, right? That's when people see him. But they don't see Bruce right? So that's how it is.
If you can tell one person out there about mental health and what they need to do, or anything. What's the message? What would be your message?
It would be do something. You know, like I said, people will tell you need to go get help. You need to do this. You need to do that. And some of that may not be where you are right then. You might not be at that point where, and you can have all the resources available to you. You know, but you know where you are. But you know something needs to happen. You know, talk to somebody, find somebody, find something, some resource, but do something. Don't do nothing. That's what I would say. Do something.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I honor you. I am humbled by you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you. Thank you for having me.